Bing bong, the Wix Editor. Bing bong, the Wix Editor. So the Wix Editor is a tool which is provided by Wix to allow you to edit and design your website. So if I click on, I'm currently on my dashboard, but if I click on Design Site there up in the right-hand corner, it will load up my site 8, which is the one I've kind of shown you in my previous videos. And straight away it takes us to our home page. So I can have a look at these listed here and click on these different pages to edit them. Now, if I just click away from everything, you'll see that there isn't anything there at the top of the screen. But if I click on my background image, it will say to me, well, do you want to replace this image? Do you want to edit the image? And for any other images I might select within my web pages. So it might be worth having a look at these different options just to see what they do, because you can always take them off if you don't like what they actually do. Now I can do the same as well with text. So if I click on my text here in the middle, it'll allow me to change the style of the text, the size of it, the color, etc. Now, if I want to add more to this home page, if I click on the add button up in the top left-hand corner, it will give me the options of the things I can also add onto it. And it also gives you some suggestions of things which you might potentially want to use, or to give you some type of idea. Now, the one thing I need to kind of point out to you at this point as well, where it says My Site 8, if I click on that, I will need to change my website name because clearly that's not a good name for a website. It does also give us the option for connecting a domain. One thing I do really like on this as well, it actually gives you the option of setting up your own brand. So if you've already got your own color scheme, your own font style, and so on, it's a really good idea to kind of set it up here or in this option near the top, because then it will kind of put that through the web pages for you, which is a nice touch. Now, when I actually made my website on Wix, it looked a little bit different to this. It had the same type of things. So I'm actually going to show you one which I was playing around with previously. So I'm only showing you this because I'm not 100% sure if it's going to show you this version of the editor or it's going to show you this version. And on the left-hand side, it kind of gives you more or less the things which we were just looking at on the previous page for the previous tab. But I just wanted to show you this because I know there's a few other things which you might have to jump around with in the other editor, but I know where they are on this, so I'm just making familiar with what they are. So we just looked at adding elements, so those things like text, images, and so on. I can add sections, so this is currently my header, and that's my shop section then, so it actually shows my products which I'm selling. You can also click on pages, and that will basically give you an easy way to get to different pages. So if I click on OG Gamers, it sometimes takes a few seconds for it to load up. And there you have it in the back. So I'll just have to click away from the menu for it to disappear. And there are other things on here as well, like the site design, so I can edit the way it's kind of structured, and I can do things like add media. So I have added media previously. So when this loads up, these are all the images which I have previously added, so I don't need to go and find them again. And just to point out, when you actually click on things, so if I click on the header, I can edit the header by clicking on Quick Edit. There's also the option across here on the right-hand side. I can go to header scroll settings, so I can decide whether or not that is constantly going to stay at the top of the page or whether or not it's going to disappear as I scroll down. But in terms of the Quick Edit side of things, if I click on Quick Edit, it loads it up like this and says, well, what is it you want to have in your header? So I've already got this image selected. I could change it there and I could maybe have a mess around with the menu, which is automatically set up with me as well. And also I've got the cart icon I can play with. So if I close that and click back on this image, then I can resize it if I want from the corners. And you see then I've got the different options which we had on the previous editor there. So really, it's about you kind of having a go at your website and kind of adding things in and seeing what it looks like. And when you eventually get to the point of, I kind of like the look at this, you've got the option to publish, but hold fire on that because it's something I know I want to talk to you about in the session. But you can also preview your website to see what it looks like on Google, for example. So I can scroll down and I can have a look around. I'm not quite sure why that hasn't appeared at this point. Oh, there it is, just a bit slow in loading up. And I can kind of get an idea of how I can interact with it, which is a nice touch. So fire away and see what you guys can come up with.